Bet you there's going to be a wedding, because that is a very popular spot for weddings, all part of the Inn at Berlin. Look up on the hill, you see the red sun umbrella, original structure with all the chimneys. That is original to the property, built by Edward Shepard at the turn of the last century. Mr. Shepard, a very prominent attorney, very giving man. He actually opened his home up to returning veterans of World War I for Convalescence. The business group bought it a few years ago, had the addition received to the right from north, a banquet hall, upscale accommodations. Now in the 1960s, the property was purchased by Mr. Charlie Wood, Charles R. Wood, and when he owned it, he called it his Sun Castle. And that's the sign you see. Now Mr. Woods, local guy made good, came back from his time in the service in the 1950s, bought 5 acres of land, created a little amusement park based on the Mother Goose nursery. Little place called Storytown. Storytown, USA. Well, Storytown, what we knew as kids as Storytown is now Six Flags Great Escape, Splashwater Kingdom. And making her way north, our sister ship, the motor vessel La du Saint Sacrament, meaning Lake of the Blessed Sacrament. That beautiful boat, built right here on Lake George by the Steamboat Company at our Marine Railway in Malvern, New York. She's never been off the lake. 190 feet long, 40 feet wide, it's 4 decks capable of carrying over 1,000 passengers. Now, not only is she the flagship, but she is also the largest vessel on the inland waterways of New York. Speaking of boats, built right here on Lake George by the Steamboat Company, you're on one. Minnehaha, built the original in 1969. Now you are on a true steam-driven stern wheel paddle wheel. Minnie, she's 137 feet long, 30 feet wide, and we are a steamboat. We take water in, put it in a boiler, use number 2 diesel fuel, turn that water into steam. Pipe that steam back to 2 horizontally mounted reciprocating engines, and it's those engines that turn that big 12-foot red paddle wheel in the back. And yep, folks, that's all that's driving us through the water. If you'd like to see it in operation, go down to the first deck, go to the right or starboard side, go to the back or steering wheel. You can enter a platform, see all the mechanics in operation, see the motors in motion, diagram and how it's all plumbed together. And today, meet our chief engineer, Mr. Rocky Lloyd. Everybody wave to Grandma Meter. That's this meter there, waving to us, the grandmother of the lake. Give her a big wave. Folks, I'm going to do a little public service announcement. You see these kayakers or these paddleboarders off to the right? They are doing it absolutely right. That is follow their example. Stay close to shore. I know the hotels and the motels, they give them out as an amenity. Great sport, absolutely love it, do it myself. But folks, as you're starting to see, lots of boat traffic, jet skis, go-kart boats, commercial traffic, parasails. You get out in the middle of the lake, we've had way too many tragedies, you cannot be seen. Stay close to shore, a lot more to see, and besides, the water is not any wetter in the middle of the lake than it is toward shore. Coming up on the right, this spoil land, all part of the Tuttle estate. Look in the middle, you'll see the yellow home with green trim. That's Halcyon House. Built in the 1930s for Mr. Charlie Tuttle. Mr. Tuttle, prominent attorney of his day, had political aspirations. Made a run for governor in 1930, but lost. Who were the opponent who Charlie is due? He lost to Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Mr. Roosevelt, being the gracious winner he was, took Charlie up on his offer. Governor Roosevelt and President Roosevelt vacation at Halcyon House. If you look straight down the lake, anybody staying at the Fort William Henry Hotel, that is the tan building with the red roof. 1880s, a young 12-year-old boy was staying there, chronicled in his diary that himself, his brother, his cousin, rode out and had tea. And what he's writing about is off to our right. This is Tea Island. Gets its name for a tea house that once stood. Turn of the last century at the north end was a tea house. But like many, it burned long ago. The family retained ownership of it. It again is one of the few 17 private islands. But instead of a big fancy place, they have their own private island. Look in the back, their own private swimming pool here, and their own little cabin in the woods. Now, I didn't see a car at the dock, but that doesn't mean anybody's not home. They may have taken an Uber. Oh, they did. There they are. Off to the right, those great buildings you see, that's all part of the timeshare resort of the Quarters. Look in the middle, you'll see the original structure, a little bit whiter than the rest. Its original owners, Alfred Stieglitz, the noted photographer of his day, and his artist wife, Georgia O'Keeffe. Yep, same Georgia O'Keeffe who was a young girl who was at Weowaka. And when they owned it, they called their estate Oaklawn. Now coming into view, you look up on the hill, you'll see the white stucco and stone of the Evelyn, one of the oldest mansions on Millionaires Row, built right after the Civil War for Colonel Price, C.W. Price. Nope, Colonel Price was not a military man. It was an honorary title given by the Union Army for his support during the war effort. He actually brewed beer at a chain of breweries in Albany and Troy, New York. Now, I told you about the Peabody brothers earlier, and they had a mom, of course. Commented one day that her sons had beautiful camps in which to entertain, and she had none. Well, being the good sons they were, they pulled their money, bought it, and gave it to their mom on Mother's Day. True story. That's where it gets its name, named after Elvira Peabody.